Ronica, is this a joke?
What? No, why would it be a joke?
You're seriously about to spend the next 10 minutes talking about not only an Activision game, but also a movie tie-in game released in 1999.
Sure, why not? I mean, it's a valid topic since it's just seen a release on the PS5 and I got to play it for free since I'm one of the chumps on their premium plan.
Oh, F this noise. I'm out. I'll be back next week to see you bitch about Hellpoint.
Don't worry folks, there are still several packets of crisps in the flat. I doubt she's going any further than the kitchen. I grew up with the Toy Story franchise. They were, and honestly still are, some of my favourite movies. Sure, the fourth kind of had to bastardise the ending of the third a bit to even exist, but it's a damn good set of movies overall. I used to visit my dad's on the weekends, and whilst I was there I got to play with the impressive collection of Toy Story, well, toys, and even got to play a lot of Buzz Lightyear to the rescue. Though in hindsight, I wonder how younger me ever endured playing it, because as short as my patience are now, as a child it was so small that you needed an electron microscope to see it. Still, I do remember having fun with it, so this week I decided to put on the heavy goggles of nostalgia and dive on in.
You sure? I mean, Spider-Man Miles Morales is available to you too. Maybe you should play that.
Nah, I think I'll play a game that's only 3 years younger than myself with horrible polygon graphics, terrible draw distances and 2 distracting black bars down either side of the screen.
God damn it, use me properly, won't you?
If you like this video and want to support the channel, there are a few ways you can do that. First of all, you can give this video a like, maybe leave a comment and subscribe for future content. To support the channel directly, go to my Patreon page and pledge £1 a month. This will get you 24 hours early access to new review videos, shoutouts at the end of videos, and you'll even get to suggest games for me to cover. Or if you'd like something more tangible back for your support, then head over to my T-Bill shop. The links to both my T-Bill shop and my Patreon page are in the description of this video, so be sure to check them out. Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue is a tie-in video game to the second Toy Story movie, first released in 1999 for the PlayStation, Dreamcast, Game Boy and N64. Fun fact, I owned 3 out of 4 of those consoles. It's a 3D first-person action-adventure game with a heavy focus on platforming and a lesser focus on combat, though calling what the game has combat is like describing Brickleberry as a comedy, technically true, but you wouldn't say it out loud and hope to be taken seriously. The game follows Buzz Lightyear in his quest to save his friend Woody, who was stolen by a weird man named Al, whose obsession with the doll has never failed to make me feel queasy. I guess I just don't understand the mind of the obsessive collectors of the world, though I'm fine with that. The first level is set in Andy's house, Andy being the kid who owns these toys. You might wonder where he is throughout the game. Well, Andy is off at cowboy camp for the weekend, or is it the summer? I actually don't remember how long he's away for, I haven't watched the film in years. And it's not as if the game actually tells you that. In fact, if you haven't watched the movie, then you'll understand what's going on about as well as a conservative Christian understands what love and acceptance is. So my advice is to watch the film first. The game does have scenes from the movie used to divide up the levels, but the issue is, the levels don't possess any form of narrative structure within them. In Andy's room, once you're given control, your objective is to find the 5 Pizza Planet tokens that will allow you access to the next level, with all the other toys either not present or demanding that you complete a task for them in exchange for one of the tokens you need. Guys, our mate has been stolen. Should we maybe, go after him? Why do I need these tokens exactly? What purpose do they serve? Oh right, they're there because this is a video game and collecting things is what people do in video games. It's not like the movie this game is based off of had a story that could have been used to help structure the levels and challenges. Oh, wait a minute. The game is tremendously frustrating to play. First of all, since this was a 3D game released in 1999, the graphics have aged about as well as a dog poo in direct sunlight, and it's fucking hard to look at. Made worse by an awful draw distance that leaves us needing to be within spitting distance of NPCs and collectibles before we can even see them. And that's all made worse by the controls. They don't feel too bad as long as you don't need to turn quickly or precision platform or anything. Of course, both of these things are required a lot. And just getting Buzz to do what you want him to do is about as reliable as the people in charge of quality control at Sony. In the first level, we see a lot of what the game has to offer. Simple jumping puzzles, sections with bars that you need to jump to swing from, climbable obstacles, floors covered in toxic slime for some reason, and enemies aplenty. On the one hand, well done to the game for managing to integrate so many mechanics into your opening stage, with most of them feeling natural.
Well, thank you. I really did make an effort to do so.
But on the other hand, screw you for having so many puzzles and challenges that rely on absolute precision when Buzz controls terribly and the camera is a big piece of shit.
I fell for it.
You cannot control the camera. It will always do its best to station itself directly behind Buzz. Unless you go into the options to change this, you'll have no control at all. But even if you do go into the settings, you're still going to have a hell of a time, since all the option really does is let you rotate Buzz on the spot with the shoulder buttons. You still can't control the camera properly. Now for a quick rundown on the 5 ways you can earn a Pizza Planet token in Andy's house. 1. You can race RC around the car in the garage. 2. Beat up the toy robot in the attic. 3. Find all of Bo Peep's sheep. 4. Platform around the basement. And 5. Bring Ham 50 coins. How do any of these tasks help us find our friend? They don't. Still, do this and you can access the next area, though in truth you don't need to get all the tokens to access the second area. In fact, for quite a while you can access later areas of the game without needing to complete every challenge, which is good. Though do keep in mind, if you're part way through one of these challenges and you leave a level, you have to start it fresh again even if you save the bloody game, which is always annoying. The first time I played I had 4 out of 5 of Bo Peep's sheep and decided to leave the level to go to the next one, and when I came back I had to start finding all the sheep again. Fuck's sake. The second level takes place in Andy's neighbourhood. Again, none of the tasks that we need to complete even come close to helping us track down our missing friend. Why this game couldn't just have a get to the end of the level to win setup is beyond me. In this area there's a very tall tree that we need to climb to beat a boss at the top for a token, and given how shit the platforming and controls are, this was an exercise in pain and screaming. Level 3 we fight with a toy plane, fuck knows why. Level 4 we're at a construction site, again fuck knows why. I don't remember that being in the movie if I'm being honest with you. Level 5 is set in an alleyway. Okay, I guess we sort of saw them in an alleyway at one point, I guess that makes sense. Level 6 is a slime boss, so fuck off. Level 7 is Al's toy barn, fair enough, that was in the movie. Level 8 is also Al's toy barn, but like a slightly different part of it. Okay, whatever. Level 9 is an alien spaceship boss, so whatever. Well, it's not really an alien spaceship, it's whatever this thing is. I called it a spaceship in the script because I kind of forgot what it was when I was writing it. The next level is in an elevator shaft. Again, the toys were in that in a movie, so fair enough. Then it's on to Al's apartment, which, to put it nicely, can eat a deep-fried cat dick. This level is swarming with ranged enemies that you can barely see, and cannons that you cannot destroy unless you find the one button in the level that somehow lets you do so. I spent ages in this level trying to complete what was actually a very straightforward platforming bit, but it was so dragged out between the terrible camera, how slippery buzzes to control, and the cannon in the room that was constantly bombarding me with explosives. I actually rage quit here, one of the many times I had to just put this game down out of sheer frustration. Though after a few Kinder bars and a nice cleansing shit I came back and by sheer luck I managed to beat the stage. The next stage was a boss fight with the evil Emperor Zurg, and that was the last boss I remember seeing. The last 2 stages I saw took place in an airport and a slightly different part of the airport, because I fully admit, viewer, I didn't finish the game. See, I already know how the movie ends, and this game doesn't actually have a story, merely existing as a reference to a piece of media which I will gladly state is infinitely stronger and more enjoyable than this is. There is no sense of reward for overcoming the challenges in-game, and this is a shame because the actual levels and platforming challenges themselves are competently put together. If I could trust Buzz Lightyear to maybe grab the easily in-reach ledge or the cable that he needs to climb, then I would have ended less sessions without experiencing the desire to kill. Another thing that bugs me is the game's combat. See, the plot of the original Toy Story is partly centered around Buzz Lightyear coming to terms with the fact that he is actually a toy and not the character the toy is based on. Toy him does have a laser, but in the film all it can really do is irritate the eyes. Though in the game it can be used to blow up enemy toys that exist for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. I think it's just because it's a video game and you need enemies in a video game, even though you don't. You can make a video game without enemies. We knew this even then. I kind of get the sense that the developers probably didn't watch the movie this was based on. If they did, they'd also know that Mr. Potato Head didn't ransom off useful gear to Buzz in exchange for missing body parts. You dumb spuddy twat, our mate is missing, just let me have the damn boost boots. Or maybe don't just stand there, go look for him yourself. Why am I the one who has to do all this shit? It doesn't strike me as a coincidence that this game was made available to us around the same time the Lightyear movie dropped. Hoping to sucker some of us old fans in, are you, Sony? Well, it worked for me until I took off the heavy goggles of nostalgia and then saw the game for what it truly was, a shitty third-person platformer from 20 years ago. You might be thinking I should cut this game some slack, but you know what, I won't. Partly because it's an Activision game and therefore it doesn't deserve any slack and deserves to be burned in a fire, but also because it's just kind of a bad game and we really have to accept that most games from this era don't stand the test of time. I really don't understand how they think they can charge a $5 for this. It's not worth that. I'm just gonna say it, 20-year-old games really aren't worth money. The creators who made these, they already got paid all those years ago, although this is an Activision product, so I have my doubts on that one. Honestly, that Activision logo is enough for me to not recommend this one. The fact that the game sucks on top of that is merely a bonus. Nostalgia is bullshit, I think a lot more of us are in agreement on that than we used to be. If you can still enjoy older games, then more power to you. I'm honestly a little bit jealous of the people who can still really enjoy retro games, though to be fair, some of those older games are still quite well designed even by today's standards. But don't play Buzz Lightyear to the rescue. It's a bad movie tie-in game that only really existed to sucker more money out of parents who had just taken their snot-nosed brats to see the film. It's bad to control, it looks horrible. I didn't even mention how annoying the background music can be and just how terrible the collision detection is. Oh wait, I just did. It's funny, after watching Lightyear in the cinema with my friend, I did briefly think back to this game and remembered liking it as a kid. But then back then I also liked SpongeBob SquarePants Curse of the Flying Dutchman, so yeah. I wasn't exactly a kid of quality tastes. Anyway, I'm glad to be done with this. Next week we look at Hellpoint.
Didn't you do that ages ago?
Yeah, but I didn't write a script or anything for that one, I just ad-libbed the entire thing. I think it's only right that I give it a fair shake, and also I don't know what else to cover next week.
Fair enough.